Here we've got our app um, right here. First thing we're going to do is open up this main view here. We don't really need any of this junk. So this app is to sort of understand where if I should speed up or slow down. It's kind of also how whether people are understanding or they're lost, right? So I don't know. This is speed monitor. I mean, we'll just go with probably live for now. Right. And now, what's going on here, right? Basically, what do we want to know? We want to know the number of people connected to the app, right? So we've got 0 people online, right? And then we've got people telling us to slow down, right? Um, 0% of people say slow down, right? Cool. Right. Here's what our app is gonna. Well, okay, and then people also need to be able to say whether I should slow down or speed up, right? So we're gonna have a quick little form here. It's gonna have okay, let's do like a little bit of a let's actually do like a table view here, right? So then we got slow down, you're good, and speed up, right? And then we've got now, did I do this right? Is there just there's our CSS, right? Table. All right, here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm just getting set up, but welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Am I offline? I should be online now. Oh, now we just wait and see if anyone shows up. All right. Well, now I get to make the awkward choice between starting on time or waiting for somebody to show up. But I don't know. This is episode one. I didn't publicize it that well, so you know, if no one's around, I'll just act like I'm recording a YouTube video. Um, and hopefully a few more people show up next time. If people trickle in, I'll say, hey, what's up, and I'll try to recap, I guess, since anyone showing up today, that's a lot of support. I appreciate that. Of course, there's no one yet. Maybe I'll pump this on Slack a little bit. Yeah, and I can deal with you know 2 people. That's totally fine. You know, 0 people talking to the empty room. It's a little weird, but we will see what's up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I guess I'm making a bit of a YouTube video. Oops. All right. Um, let's see. I know there's like a pre-roll ad when you join for the first time. So, I see you, Mr. Spangles. Sorry to awkwardly call you out, but First person here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, all right, so we got this Phoenix server I just created. And so right now it's just the default thing. All I have done in this folder is the default Phoenix generator, new app generator. So once this compiles, we'll see just the default app here. How's it going, Spangles? Is that how you say it? Spangles? Where are you coming from? Where are you? Right, okay. Here we can see the default app. So let's go and start doing some stuff in there. So here, this is just the template for this page that comes with the default generator. Cambridge, cool. Is that Cambridge, England, or Cambridge by Boston? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I lived in Cambridge. I just moved to New York City, but I'm in Boston. Okay, was in Boston. So here's our thing. Phoenix has pretty cool live reload stuff and dev, which is nice. I didn't even have to hit refresh there. I just saved the file. I guess I'll bump the text a little bit too. So here we've got our page. We can just make changes in here pretty easily. So what I want to build today is sort of a live participation thing. Basically, I don't know, I haven't done any live coding before or anything like that, so I want to get some feedback on when I'm going too fast, when I'm going too slow, that kind of thing. So we are going to, use Phoenix Presence. Well, Phoenix Presence makes this pretty easily. I built this app once before, sort of in rehearsal, and it turned out pretty well. I figured out how the Presence API worked a little bit, and it should be pretty quick today. So, okay, how many people online? I don't know, we've got... Right, start with 0 people online. What else do we care about? We care about people saying we should slow down. We care about people saying you should speed up, and then some people are probably going to be happy with how I'm going. So there we go. All right, this is what our stuff is going to look like. Also in Cambridge, juicy fruit. Oh, like the candy, good one. That's subtle. Yeah, so part of what I want to do is, especially on Fridays, especially like right around lunch, right after lunch, I was always pretty, I don't know, tired. It's tough to get back to work after lunch on a Friday, I found. So I thought like a nice little programming thing where we work together a little bit could get people fired back up for the rest of the day. Yeah, I know I would love a lunch break show or something like that, so I just figured I'd give it a shot. This is going to be, you know, total disaster because it's my first time, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so we got kind of like our app template here. We're gonna need to, like, as we get the information from Phoenix, we're gonna have to render it in. So I'm gonna do like a quick little bit of JavaScript to like render that information. So I'm just gonna drop it in this like app.js file that Phoenix gives you. You can organize your files pretty well, and you can import them here. It's sort of automatically compiled with Brunch and everything. So it should be pretty cool, but I'm just going to do this here. So we're going to have a render function, which is going to take some information, right? It's going to take the number of people saying speed up, number of people saying I'm good, and the number of people saying speed down, slow down, rather. And we're going to render that information. So let's see, first the total is going to be and then let's have like persistent handles to these DOM nodes instead of grabbing them each time. So right, we're going to get num online. And then we have the rest of these down, good, and up. This is up, yep. Okay, we've got our things, and then we just set the content to be our like number here. So I mean, if we just do that, and let's also render, you know, we're just going to hard code a single render for now with, let's say, one person says slow down, one person says we're good, and one person says speed up. Let's say two people slow down. The right pane of my editor is a bit off to the side, so you can only see the first 30 columns. Like this? I guess I'm not sure what you mean. Am I not streaming my entire screen? Oh, that's so weird. Thanks for letting me know. How do I fix that? Also, yeah, enjoy this like tunnel of tunnel of excitement right here. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. Right. It's because when I set up my streaming setup, I assumed that I would be doing a different display ratio. Zoom in. Something like this, maybe? Is that right? No, it's not good enough. Here we go. Okay. Yep. This is how I set it up originally. Yeah, I love the infinite hallway. I actually love it when streamers like show their thing because that's just such a fun little thing. Okay, so this should be better. Let me know if it's not. Cool, 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 cool. All right, so we set our total. We set um, our slow down. and we do this single render. All right, so we get a proper render of the number of people online. We're not getting our proper render of people saying slow down, percentage down. We're setting the inner HTML to down over total, right? So it's all, you know, I guess I probably have to course to string or something. I don't know. Do I have a typo? You seen a typo or something? Live coding is hard. Cannot create property inner HTML on number 2. Oh, I'm reusing names here. Yeah. Right, there's a conflict between like my variable name here and my variable name here. So let's just call these like dollars because they're elements. We're going to do that. What's the error? There we go. And now we're rendering that right, so we can just do the other 3. We've got down, good, and up. There we go. How many people we got in here? Just you, Mr. Spangles? That's all right. Cool. All right, so that's all the like, you know, now our task is to use Phoenix to gather this information from people and render it. And so one thing people need to say, right? They need to be able to check whether I should speed down, slow up, right? So let's add a quick little input to capture that information. Slow down, yep. Let's actually do a little bit of this. That should look a little better. Woohoo, yeah, we got our render, that's cool. So, slow down, you're good, speed up, right? And then we want to go with you're good by default. There we go. Cool. So when people load up the page, they'll be on your good. They can speed up or slow down if they'd like. And that's all the front end stuff we're going to do for now. Yeah. So we've got our form, and we're going to go figure out some of the Phoenix stuff now. So let's see. Let me, how I originally figured this stuff out. Was this video and post by Chris McCord here, which was pretty cool. I'll post this link in chat for you. So yeah, if you want to go through and check out some of this stuff on your own, you can do that with his. So okay, let's kind commit, I usually do an initial commit with, the empty app, but um, so Phoenix comes with a generator to add presence to your project. Right, phoenix.gen.presence. This will add presence to your project mostly. So what it does is it adds this file, right? This thing just uses phoenix.presence, but it is a channel, right? So the one thing you want to do is make sure this this presence module is kept alive in case it crashes for whatever reason, with socket hangups, that kind of thing. Hey, Markham, Mr. Calm. I don't know, what's up? Yeah, okay. So we've got this channel here. We just follow the instructions here. To add a new supervisor to our app. I don't know how familiar you are with Mark. Great. So how familiar are you guys with Elixir and Phoenix? I mean, do you want me to talk about the supervisor architecture real quick? I don't know, where you're coming from, because I was talking in the Elixir Slack a little bit, but also like the, sure. Okay, cool. So, I mean, Erlang comes from sort of telecom industry, right? And so you want your phone switches to always be up 100% of the time, forever. If something goes wrong, the most important thing is to get things running again. So Erlang libraries, which Elixir uses, have this idea of a supervisor tree. So basically, presence does all sorts of things. It does this it uses this gossip replication protocol to talk with any other servers you have running, and sort of replicate this information in like this super computer sciencey way. But I mean, you need to bring this server back up if it crashes for whatever reason. I mean, it can it can be any unexpected error. Sometimes the best way to do it is just restart. Yeah. Explanation would be useful. Yeah. And so also in Elixir, the way units of I don't know, units of architecture, I guess. A lot of times you'll have these things called generic servers, which are basically Erlang processes that are just going in a loop, listening for messages and processing them, doing actions, and perhaps sending messages back out. So the supervisor tree can sort of send a bit of like a ping message and make sure it's getting responses from these server processes. And if things start going badly, if it queries the status of the process and it's down, it'll restart it. These generic servers are pretty interesting because they have state, but it gets passed in every time, right? So because Elixir is functional, the API of the generic server is that it receives. I'm a little flimsy on this stuff, especially live. I worked on 2 Phoenix APIs a little while ago, but this is the first time, I started one myself. So I guess I'm a little unprepared, but I mean, part of this thing is to like explore things together. So let's let's go do some stuff. Okay, so we generated the presence and we added this here. So now no worries, thanks. I I mean, I only did this once in rehearsal too, so it's also possible I'm just going to forget how to do things, which is going to be embarrassing. But okay, so let's go to okay, we added present to our app, right? So now there's also this like user socket. This user socket is like the main channel, and so when people try to connect to a Phoenix channel, this is sort of like the router for sockets and live connections, as opposed to the router for you know, web server route connections. So rather than like using rooms like this, I mean, you can do this whatever you want. You can use wildcards, and there's a convention of using things to using colons to sort of like scope. But our whole app basically only has one live channel that it cares about. So we're just going to call this, I don't know, the speed channel or something, right? And this is going to go to whatever we want to name our channel. If we look at our current list of channels, we have this presence thing that was generated, and then we have this main sort of router socket. So we have to generate a new channel to handle incoming connections from new people who see our app. And we can call it whatever we want. I'm going to call it speed channel. So now people trying to join the speed channel will get routed to this channel server, gen server thing. Speed channel.ex. And let's see, I think we use probably live .web channel. So what we need to do is we need to handle the join. I'm actually going to look at my code that I did yesterday, because I just do not have as strong a handle on this as I thought I did when I was hacking around. Yeah, so join room name information socket. Okay, sure. So join, and you can match here, right? So we could allow joining of any room with any information and get our let's see. So because of the channel router we set up before, right? When people are trying to join the speed room, they'll get sent here, right? So we expect the channel to be speed, right? But if we used a wildcard, right, it could be like this. So then, I don't know, we might have something like a lobby matcher here, and then we could have a separate one here for you know, joining specific rooms, something like that. But since we only have the one thing here, we can just do this, right? This argument here is some you know, key value pairs. It's like the parameters, and you can use that to deny access to joining the channel or allow it. Allowing it looks like this. If you didn't allow it, I think it'd be something like this. You return an error instead of okay. But since anyone can join this thing, we're just going to turn OK with the socket, and you have to keep passing your state around, because that's how the next person gets it here. And watching Chris McCord do this, he had a nice pattern where you just send to yourself an after join message. Yeah, you just send an after join message and then handle it down here. Yeah, and so this is like to, you don't want to do any heavy lifting before you allow the client to connect, because there's sort of like round trip time that it takes to sort of verify the connection, that kind of thing. So if you post an asynchronous message to yourself, it will be, picked up when necessary, and you can do the more complicated stuff there. So now we are going to start the presence tracking. Let's see, I guess I'm just gonna copy this in and I'll talk about what it does. So this is the presence API. I believe it has some side effects of perhaps storing some data somewhere, but basically it like adds to the state that is being gossiped around by the various presence servers. You are tracking a certain ID. We're going to use it. Oh man, wow. Let me do it on people. Guys, this this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. But we'll muddle through a little bit. Yeah, I guess let me know when you guys have to go, because I will go collapse in a corner when you have to go. But for the meantime, I'll try to show you what I've got working. You know what? Actually, here, let's just change this to walk through the app I built the other day. Rather than writing it here, which is like super difficult, I'm just going to show you guys what I did the other day. What I will do is the structure is a little bit different of the never mind. Okay. Let's go here. Let's stop this one. All right. So we're judging me harshly. Great. Okay. So what we've got on the left here. Okay, so we've just got multiple people joined up right now, and it's the same sort of thing. I let people join the room and like not, understand one, or let's see. I was going for yesterday, like whether people were following along or whether they were lost. I realized like just asking directly about the speed might be good, because then if I was going too slow, people could say that also. So right now I'm just basically saying people can say they are following on successfully or saying they're kind of lost a little bit. And there's no like middle option that is default when they join the page. It's just sort of a lack of one or the other, right? So, these are two windows. We could use different browsers or something also. And, if this was live on the internet, you guys could join also. But you can see it's like pretty instant, right? So the instant I change this, it changes on the other screen. And the instant I close the window also, like this is going to go down to one people online. Slow down, speed up. yeah, so that's super cool. Let's look at the JavaScript first real quick. So the Presence API kind of has two halves to it, right? It's got the Elixir API as well as the JavaScript API. Because I mean, it's a channel, like you're talking from both sides of it. So I mean, in the HTML, I did the same sort of thing. I just had DOM elements to hook onto. In the JavaScript, I got a little sloppier, but so you can import this API from Phoenix, right? And this is, you know, ES6 import syntax, which is pretty cool. I think it gets transpiled with Brunch that's included. So the API is basically you create a new socket, you connect the socket, you create a channel, you get a reference to a channel by calling channel on the socket, and then you can set up some event handlers first if you want, and then at the bottom you call channel.join, right? So I mean that's the thing. You create a socket, you connect the socket, you create a channel, you join the channel. And then all this stuff in the middle is handling the events, basically. So the two main presence events are presence state and presence diff. So presence state happens when you join initially, or perhaps you lost connection for a while and you rejoined. It's basically a sync up saying, here's the current state. And so the presence API has a sync state function where you use that. You say, all right, you know, here's where they say the current state is, and use that. There's also a diff that just like, you know, it's a diff. But the way you do it is you use the sync state and you sync diff, and it's a little bit like Elixir. It's functional, so you have to sort of keep this reference somewhere and, you know, write over it with the new value. And then I have this render function with the presences you get. The presences, let's see, it's an array. No, it's an object, right? And here you have the ID, so it would be like Aaron and Phil, because those are the two connection IDs I was using. And then in here, I think it's basically something of the structure like this. And these meta things are basically like arbitrary hashes. When you use it in the Phoenix, when you use it in Elixir, understanding channel, right? It's basically whatever you set, whatever you track the state as. Right, okay, so the only thing I'm using here is state. In Elixir, right, in response to messages, you call this presence.track function. And here's the data you store along with whatever user ID. Later, you can update the same user ID. I was accidentally doing track here, and I was getting a new entry in this array each time, which turned out to be a little annoying, right? So you can track multiple presences for a given user. So they might be joined from a browser and also from a mobile and you know, something like that. And so you can track those different ones simultaneously. So then you could, you know, update each one based on which connection you got the information from. But I only care about a single presence for each user. So mine basically, you know, look like this with just the single set of information. How are we doing? Question, is channel connection monitored by a specific supervisor? Yeah. So each joinable channel room is a gen server. That's correct. And so join is the channel API, but then handle info is the gen server API. And so you see I just send myself a message and handle that. The channel connections are monitored by a supervisor. If we look at our main app, you can see this supervisor is watching this right here. This presence was generated with the command. Right? This command is how you add presence to your app. You add this line here, and then it also adds the file channels presence. It adds this thing, which is basically one long comment, and then use phoenix.presence. But this is helpful for figuring out how to do things. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm updating the channel. There's a hook for channels, handle in. So this is when the JavaScript posts something down to the channel to Elixir. It's posting a state set event. And so I just update the presence to have this state. And that's for like the understanding state, which is either true or false or undefined. Undefined basically means they joined the room and they haven't chosen one yet. And then true means they got it, and false means they're a little lost. So I just track this in the state here. And by updating the presence, well, then I can push the new state up to the client like this after I let presence sort of sync it across all the clients or whatever. And then we'll just get a presence state or a presence diff event. We'll get one of those events and we will update our state, and then we'll render with the new thing. So there's this presence.list function, which takes sort of the representation of the presences and sort of a map function. I didn't really understand exactly what the purpose of this function is. And it's actually, I mean, not that much. It basically just converts it from an object with the keys being the IDs, and it just hands that to you in your callback with the ID as the first argument and then the value as the second. So I don't know, this API seems a little awkward. I mean, it's a little nicer than doing it yourself, I guess, but just in Chris McCord's screencast, he seemed like he was placing importance on this, almost like presences with some internal representation or something like that. But I looked it up in the source. Oops. I looked it up in the source. And it's a really small function. Right, here it is. Presences, chooser. This is the list by function. It just maps over it and calls your chooser on each one. So you don't really have to do this list if you want to just do it manually, but it's how we did it in the screencast, so that's what I went with. And then, so what you do in this list by is you basically take this metas list that you get, and you reduce it down to a single piece of information that your app cares about. These are in order of most recently updated. So right here will basically be whatever client this connection most recently set an update with will be the first one. So if they've got a mobile device open and a desktop browser open, and they change their status in the browser to away, then this will be the browser presence with a state of away or something like that. So you can use that to sort of like prioritize recent information, but you can also like reduce with all the information. In this case, I only care about that single one. I showed you I only have a single one in the array. So I just say that the state is the state one here. I know as long as I'm doing everything right that there will only be a single one anyway. So what happens is you get an array of these sort of objects out now in your list callback. So then I just for each over each one, and then I sort of collect that in this thing, and now I dump that into the UI, and that's how this works. And it's pretty cool. It's I think there are some improvements that could maybe be made to the API, especially around like this present state and present diff. This seems like the kind of thing that could be handled for you. It sort of seems weird that you have to listen to the channel for an event and then tell presence to update. It seems like rather than like, it seems like you shouldn't even need to use the channel API if you're using presence. You should sort of just be able to do like presence.subscribe and only do this later stuff, like with the list and list by and stuff. So I'll probably be talking about that in the Slack channel a little bit coming up. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ember.js. So, man, this was this was difficult, but it was pretty cool. I'll probably try to just rehearse more in the future so I know what I'm doing. And I don't know, maybe get some help. Get someone else to read the chat while I do the coding or something like that. We'll see. But this was cool. I kind of want to, I really like the idea of having an app for the show that we work on the show. So it's like better next time, and it like evolves as we work on it together. I think that would be super fun. So if that gets more complicated, I'll sort of pull in Ember, and then we'll do some Ember episodes as well. Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to take off 2 monitors. Yeah, that would help a lot too, for sure. I'm just I just moved to New York City, so I don't really have it set up yet. I'm just on my laptop. I'm also at a co-working space, so I don't really have my own room for my own setup. I'm just sort of ducked into an office here, but this was fun. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Oh wait, I put together a little Google form. I mean, I guess there are like 3 of you or something. Oops, infinite hallway, there we go. Yeah, I put together a Google form. For feedback. So if you feel like telling me what you thought, you can record that here. And even though it's just a couple, wait. Yeah. Even though it's just a couple of you, it'd be cool if we had this, form for just every episode from the beginning or something. So yeah, if you'd fill that out, I'd appreciate it. It's just, did you like it? Did you learn anything? And, any other feedback. So Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna go. I'm on the Elixir Slack, Courageous, um, and I guess I'm gonna drop my Twitter also. You need permission. Okay. Send via. Oh, there we go. Okay. Great. Yeah, cool. My Twitter is Courageous. Also, my GitHub you can check out. I have a couple random little projects on there. But thanks for joining. Feel free to reach out, and hopefully I'll see you in the future. All right. Bye guys. Thanks so much.